Good morning, y'all. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today is Wednesday, March 8th. Um, and as you guys know, so far this week, we've had a pretty volatile week due to a lot of the financial, economic calendar news stuff going on this week. So today is going to be a very busy day for the market. We're probably going to see a chop till Powell comes and speaks at around 10 a.m. So we're looking at a 7 a.m. Mortgage data, which is should be out already. Then we come at 8:30, which is just about a minute ago. Import, export, and trade balance data was released, and now we have uh 10 a.m. Fed Chairman Powell to speak at 10 a.m. So we also have our last data of the day, 10:30. We got crude oil data. But overall, let's get into it. Let's see what we're gonna watch. And then we'll see how the day goes. But overall earnings, I believe SE is going to see some movement today. As you guys know, we grabbed SE on Monday. We were looking at it for some calls at open to that 76.36 price target and to see an expectation higher as it performed towards earnings. This stock was mainly on the list due to interest in earning stocks due to volatility in the market. So whenever there is big earning companies, there's going to be interest in their stock rather than other stocks that are volatile as they wait for Powell to speak and stuff like that. So it's always good to watch earning stocks during times of volatility because their IV, um, their Vega can be a little higher. So we'll see how we move today. As always, if you guys do have any questions while I'm streaming this, uh, feel free to let me know in the chat, and let's get right into it. As far as earnings go, anything important today will probably be JD may have some interest. We may see some aftermath of SE and crowd movements. Nothing else I'm really too into as far as individuals. So let's get right into this here. So we have our ES mini. So far, it looks like we're consolidating at pre-market, holding above this 3983 level. As you guys know, this 405, we mentioned it yesterday at around 10:30 a.m. to watch for bounces as well as all these levels that I have charted. So far, we're seeing some hold above these prices. If we can get below this 3983 today, we're most likely going to see this 3975. As you guys know, last week that 3975 had a ton of volume and a ton of restriction. As you guys see, these are key levels of last week. Super important spots to watch out for. And I'm expecting if we go below 3975 to hold above. We got calls or buyers in this range, especially at close. We started to see some investors push us up a little bit. But I'd like to see us get lower than that, especially if Powell does come in. We're expecting some really important news to be discussed today. So there's definitely you guys definitely shouldn't be forcing trades at all. If the setup isn't there, we won't take it. As I personally won't be trading unless I see a really good setup. Um, it's just there's no reason to. We have Thursday, we have Friday, and we also have all of next week to make our money. Although I believe we do have some important news next week as well to watch out for, as well as I think OPEC's option expiration. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be watching. As far as any new levels go, I don't see any worth adding, especially on a day where market's mainly going to be influenced by um, data and news rather than technicals. Although we are seeing some buyers at key levels, then maybe we can try and scalp up or grab some puts in certain key levels as well. As far as rejection goes, rather than rebounds, we're gonna look at this 4060 if we get up there, or 4023. Looks like we ended up having some massive sellers there as well after us continue going down. We tried to break up, failed, and instead went lower lows. So that shows me that there's sellers involved at that price range. So 4023 to 4034 is where I'm going to be watching for some puts if we do end up pushing up. But overall, the risk reward, as you guys know, is pretty high. Um, Let's get into SPX. So SPX looking to, let's see what it's doing. We got a reject at 4078. This was gap fill. So that's good to know. If we do have any bullish news, that can push us up, and especially if they do increase the rate hikes to around 0.50 BPS, then we should see about a 50 point to 100 point move, ultimately leaving us to 90, 4090 main gap, main reject. That's where I would like to see for me to enter puts personally and grab some longs on the way. Grab some long shorts. Any balances I'm going to look for is around this 3974 again, 3962 and 3948. As far as us going lower than that, that would already be about a 40 point move, so it's a little tough, especially as we sold off a lot of our uh, profits from our jump here, our little move here. We already sold off a good portion of it yesterday alone. So this 150 point move, we started to see some selling. We're down about um, 100 points since then. So I'd like to see us go lower if possible. But overall, we gotta understand that there is a lot of people still bag holding. So either things can go on, they can either be buying into it more, or get us lost, or get us lower. There's still a lot of liquidity as well, but we'll see how the markets do today. So yeah, that's about it for this SPX. Now we're gonna move on to individuals, but before I do, I think we have a question in the chat. Never mind, I don't. That's not a question. It's all good. We'll move on to Apple. So Apple on, I believe this was Monday, we rejected supply, started selling off. We have a support at 150.50, 150.88. Looks to be a small support. We have a rejection here, three bounces here, break here, rebounds here, rebounds, break, re-entry. So we can use it as a breaker block and start to bounce up again, or we can break through it and see if this is used as a resistance. We'll look into it to see how it does. As far as us going higher than the supply, we do know that the market has been having tension up here. For a lot of the same stocks in the S&P 500, we do end up seeing rejections at those high. So Apple shouldn't be any different. Let's see how we do for Apple. All right, let's go on to Costco. Costco consumer sector actually is a sector that's going to have a lot of interest before data is released. So like we see on yesterday for Costco, it ended up running about 2% before the data came out. So there's definitely going to be interest in consumer, especially as Costco continues to hold above this retracement. And overall, it looks like we're using this zone, as you guys know, this supply zone and now looking to be a demand zone. We're starting to see that become use for investors to step in, especially after this earnings. We ended up pushing down, gaining a massive amount of strength, and just trending right back up to earnings high. So let's see how we do. We can hold above this retracement. If we can, we'll probably continue up. Use this 490 again as a reject. 493. An overall main goal would probably be this 496-ish area. Just that retracement. As you guys know, Costco is a really big retracement stock, so it should abide by that today. So let's go on to NVIDIA. I believe chip sector itself is starting to see some selling from their weak push that we've had in the beginning of the week. Overall, this is a rising wedge on a weekly frame. I'd like to see us break support sometime in the future. But a lot of the chip sector stocks do look the same, including AMD. We're gonna look at the same setup where we are kind of rejecting. Although AMD did have relative strength in the chip sector, we are seeing some of the same patterns. For me, AMD, I'd like to see this whole resistance be a rejection spot. So if we do end up getting some volume here today, and pushing us up to 86-ish, I'll probably grab some puts on a swing position. As far as any other companies go, we're looking at AMAT, which is also a semiconductor sector stock. They're also having sort of the same trend as Nvidia and AMD, although they actually sold off a lot heavier in the past 2 days. So I do want to see how we do react. As you guys know, I want to grab shorts on this stock as well. in the future. So as far as any setup goes, I'm not going to be trading Nvidia specifically. Looks like they're holding it still. Not a lot of selling yet, so that shows that there could be more on our way, but I do want to see how we do play out rather than just take a trade. Now we'll move on to Tesla. So Tesla's actually really interesting. If you guys see this, we have our trend, which is up, right? You gotta bounce higher, low, or lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. Then we see this breakout, and then what happens here? We have our little trend, and we move around. We got our little whatever you want to call that. You can call it head and shoulders. I don't really see the neckline or the shoulder line adding up too well. But what we do see is this pattern. We go higher, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. We break it, and then we use that lower high as a retest, and now we're going lower. So for me, this is a pattern that we usually see a lot of sellers step in at, and we can go a lot lower. So from this setup, we're going to look for a lower low below this 182, which is just the beginning of the trend. Um, it's going to be an interesting spot to watch out for as we continue to see selling for this position. We also got a bounce spot here, so there could be a key level. Other than that, I'm not gonna take shorts. The implied volatility for this stock should be pretty high, especially on a week like this. Um, as far as anything else goes, not really. I'm gonna just keep it on hold, look to see if there's still opportunity later in the day. Now here comes Meta. Meta actually touched the supply zone and rejected right at it on this was yesterday, I believe. Which is perfect. We touched the supply zone, rejected, and now we're seeing some sellers. As far as a continuation down, we do have all of this money to be sold. So I should see profit takers start to step in slowly as they start to fear of losing values of their contracts, and or if news comes out, there is going to be sellers stepping in. As far as now, this isn't as enough sellers to wipe out all of this profits. So that shows me that there's still bag holders, but overall, as far as setups go, not much I see. But Meta looks to be having opening interest daily, so we can also watch to see if there's interest there at open today. Maybe for an orb, although orb is pretty stretched out. Um, we'll see. Amazon. Nothing too serious there. We are below these key levels and kind of like flat in the middle. I'll be marking one level in particular just to watch out for the future, which is just this 93.11. Looks to be some buyer interest there, some over here, and then a little break, re-entry. Sort of could see a bounce. We break below that, we can go lower low to around 90.56. And yeah, doesn't look bad. There's let's see. We'll see how it does. I'm interested in seeing how Amazon does perform. Still, probably not gonna take it. Just gonna watch it, but it's always good to see. And of course, the AMD massive volume yesterday didn't sell below, so that's good compared to the other stocks in the chip sector. Um, Nothing there. We're seeing a lot of chop on AMD recently. Their trends have been very choppy. We have occasional volume and a sell off, but overall, looks like we get into that range where we just sell off. So when we start to see us get up here, I'm expecting volatility. Um, this does look like a staircase. We can try and get up there, but we'll see. And then this Netflix has been selling off for a while now. As far as continuation goes, let's watch the support. See if we can get below that. That could end up being a rising or falling wedge in the future. So let's pay attention to that. Let's see how we do. Let's see if that ends up being a buy spot. We'll see how it does. Nothing really else in my eyes for this. Probably just gonna leave it like it is, and we'll just watch it throughout the week. And then of course HD, not gonna touch that. Microsoft, not gonna touch that. BA selling off after that 215 it on Monday or Friday. Um, as you guys know, BA absolutely rallied after breaking this falling wedge and selling off. So what it looks to be like is we're actually in this 208 to 206 important zone, where we may see some bounces, we may see some volume step in, but overall, since it is a news day, there's not gonna be much technical influence. But it is gonna be a stock to watch out for to see if there is investor interest at that price. We could push up, retrace, or we can continue lower and head towards that 203 spot where there may be some buyers waiting for us down there too. Anything else other than that for BA? It looks like we're still between this falling wedge range, so there's a lot that could go on. I'm just gonna be patient with this stock and move on from there. Then we got our Disney. Disney doesn't look like it has much interest, but Google, it looks like it's holding above this 93.57. Um, I do like how it's holding above that. I'd like to see it go higher high than 95.52. Um, so far I like if yes, last week Google had really trouble after their earnings holding above certain prices, and I'm interested in seeing it continue. As you guys know, Google did sell off pretty nicely after their earnings. And then after selling off, we started experiencing volatility at this price, seeing some buyer influence, and then we kind of sold off again, bounced off this demand or supply or yeah, demand, and then we started to see some investor influence, some buyers step in, and now we're at that range again where we're starting to see that volatility occur. So we're holding above this price nicely. If we can get higher highs, this could end up being a pretty good um, pattern where we could just kind of move up. Overall telling me that there's interest, so we can see a reversal. There's a few things that can go on, but Google does look interesting, and we'll keep it on watch for today. Walmart holding above the demand. We're gonna continue watching it to see if there's um a push up higher. Looks like we broke the little trend yesterday. There was a lot of volatility the day before, but we'll see how we continue. I'm personally not gonna take anything unless the setup is pretty nice. But we'll see. And then PayPal selling off after hitting the retraced areas, retraced prices up as falling wedge. And let's see. So this is actually interesting. CRWD, which was on our last week newsletter, it actually ended up filling gap this week. Uh, and we do have earnings. That's actually due to earnings. So we filled our gap. So you guys know this gap from previous earnings. We ended up taking calls up here. We hit our first price target, second price target, and now this third price target seems to be hit. This is where I wanted to see investors really touch at the price wise. Now, what I can expect for a crowd over the next few days or weeks is to kind of just chop around this gap and then slowly fade off and sell. This was really the main target for investors for this crowd company. So they may start to take profit. We can start going lower, but there's gonna be some important things to watch there. Um, I'm gonna keep my eyes on that. We already talked about AMAT. I do want to see us go lower. See if there's interest down here to buy calls, or if we can break support to buy puts. And then JP Morgan. JP Morgan broke their support after their finance completely shattered. They're going to be, or there's possibilities of interest rates increase, as you guys know. Um, there's a lot of news about the debt ceiling, or a lot of talk about the debt ceiling. Uh, Things that can be affecting JPM a lot. So we're gonna leave this on hold. We're gonna watch to see if we can go lower. If we can break this lower low, then we're probably gonna start seeing retracements towards this like 133 spot. Maybe this 136. There's a few things that we could see. But I won't be personally touching it. Now, as you guys know, we got our SE trade for the week right here. Watching for a breakout on Monday. So on Monday, it looks to be we broke out. Then we pushed towards this 67.36 as we wanted it to, and then we fell back down. and we use that support or resistance as a support, causing us to, or being a good spot for investors to close at. And then we had our earnings absolutely pushing us. And then notice the interest yesterday, although the market was fairly volatile. SE had that interest, making it a good stock to trade. So it being 10% up after earnings is even better. So yeah, we had our plan here. And to subscribe to it, it's free. It's down in the description. So if you guys want to check out our weekly newsletter, I post it every week out to everybody's emails. So it's free. You guys can join it. Um, and let me know what you guys think. So this SE was a great trade. Anything else as far as where we could go today? It is 8:51, so we do open up in about 40 minutes. There could be chop with an open in between this range. Um, I may take some calls about 3983 to 3975 if we bounce before Powell speaks there. As far as rejection goes, we're looking at 4023 to 3434 for rejections. Other than that, that's probably going to be it for me in this live stream. So if you guys do enjoy this pre-market, let me know. Um, of course, this today should be trading smart, trading safe. There's not many reasons to be entering, forcing a trade today specifically, and or any of these big news days. So um, I'll see you guys in a few minutes in the Team Bull Discord, and let's trade smart, let's trade safe. I'll see you guys.